And this song is called Alice's Restaurant. It's about Alice and a restaurant. But Alice's Restaurant is not the name of the restaurant, that's just the name of the song. And that's why I call the song Alice's Restaurant. Arlo Guthrie is just a simple man with a guitar. He tells a classic tale in his spoken word song of his small town life in the middle of the Vietnam War era. And most importantly, he wants to let you know that you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie. Now it all started 2 Thanksgivings ago, that's 2 years ago on Thanksgiving, when my friends and I went up to visit Alice at the restaurant. But Alice doesn't live in the restaurant, she lives in the church nearby the restaurant, in the bell tower with her husband Ray and Fasha, the dog. And living in a bell tower like that, they got a lot of room downstairs where all the pews used to be. And having all that room, they decided they didn't have to take out their garbage for a very long time. We got up there, found all the garbage, and decided it'd be a friendly gesture for it to take it all down to the city dump. So we took a half a ton of garbage, put it in the back of our red VW microbus, took shovels and rakes and implements of destruction, and headed on down toward the dump. Now we got there, and there's a big chain and a sign across the dump saying, "This dump is closed on Thanksgiving." And we'd never heard of a dump closed on Thanksgiving before. So, with tears in our eyes, we drove off into the sunset looking for another place to put the garbage. Now, we didn't find one until we came to a side road. And off to the side of the side road was a 15-foot cliff. And at the bottom of the cliff was another pile of garbage. And well, we decided that one big pile was better than 2 little piles, and rather than bring that one up, we decided to throw ours down. That's what we did. We drove back to church, had a Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, went to sleep, and didn't get up till the next morning, when we had a phone call from Officer Obie. He said, "Kid, we found your name on an envelope at the bottom of a half a ton of garbage, and we wanted to know if you had any information about it." And I said, "Yes, sir, Officer Obie. I cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope under that garbage." After speaking to Obie for about 45 minutes on the telephone, we finally arrived to the truth of the matter. And he said we had to go down and pick up the garbage. He also said we had to go down and have a word with him at the police officer station. So we got in our red VW microbus with our shovels and rakes and implements of destruction and headed on down toward the police officer station. Now, friends, there was only 1 or 2 things that Obie could have done us. The first was that he could have given us a medal for being so brave and honest on the telephone, which wasn't very likely and we didn't expect it. The second was that he could have bawled us out and told us never to be seen driving around the vicinity again with garbage, which is what we expected. But when we got to the police officer station, there was a third possibility that we had not even counted upon, in which we was immediately handcuffed and arrested. And I said, "Now, Obie, I can't pick up the garbage with these handcuffs on." I said, "Shut up, kid." We sat in the back of the patrol car and drove to the, quote, scene of the crime, unquote. Now I want to tell you about the town of Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where all this is happening. They got 3 stop signs, 2 police officers, and 1 police car. But when we got to the scene of the crime, there was 5 police officers and 3 police cars seeing the biggest crime in the last 50 years. They was using all kinds of cop equipment that they had hanging around the police and officer station. They was taking plaster tire tracks, footprints, dog smelling prints, and they took 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, describing what each one was to be used as evidence against us. They took pictures of the approach, the getaway, the northwest corner, the southwest corner, and that's not to mention the aerial photography. We went back to the jail. Obie said he was going to put us in his cell. He said, "Kid, I'm going to put you in a cell. I'll be needing your wallet and your belt." I said, "Now, Obie, I understand you need my wallet, so I don't have any money to spend in the cell. Why do you need my belt?" He said, "Kid, we don't want any hanging." I said, "Obie, did you think I was going to hang myself for a living?" I said he was just making sure, and it was about 4 or 5 hours later that Alice... Remember, Alice? There's a song about Alice. Alice came by and with a few nasty words to Obie, bailed us out of jail. We went back to church, had another Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, went to sleep and didn't get up till the next morning. When we had to go to court. We walked in, sat down. Obie came in with a 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one. Sat down. Then a man came in, said all right, and we all did. And Obie did, with the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures. And a judge walked in, sat down with a seeing eye dog. Sat down. We sat down. Obie looked at the seeing eye dog. And then back at the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with a paragraph on the back of each one. And then back at the seeing eye dog. And then back at the 27 8x10 with circles and a paragraph on the back of each one. And then Obie began to cry. Because Obie came to the realization that it was a typical case of American blind justice, and there wasn't nothing he could do about it. And the judge wasn't going to look at the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one describing which one was to use as evidence against us. And we was fined $50. But that's not what I'm here to tell you about. I'm here to talk about the draft. See, they got a building down in New York City called Whitehall Street, where you walk in, get inspected, detected, infected, neglected, and selected. I went on down to get my physical examination one day. They gave me a piece of paper that said, "Kid, see the psychiatrist in room 604. I went up there and I said, Shrink, I want to kill. I want to kill. I want to see blood and gore and veins and dirt, eat dead burnt bodies. I mean, kill. Kill. And I started jumping up and down, yelling, kill, kill. And we started jumping up and down, and we was both jumping up and down, yelling, kill, kill, kill. And then the sergeant walked over to me, pinned a medal on me, said, "You're our boy." I said, "Good. We only got one question for you. Have you ever been arrested?" So I proceeded to tell him the story of Alice's Restaurant Massacre with full orchestration and a 5-part harmony. And he stopped me right there. He said, "Kid, have you ever gone to court?" And I proceeded to tell him the story of the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one. And he stopped me right there. He said, "Kid, I want you to go over there and sit on that bench that says Group W." Group W is where they put you if you may not be moral enough to join the army. So they had all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly-looking people on that bench there, and it was mean and nasty and ugly and horrible. And the meanest, ugliest, and nastiest one was coming over to me, and he sat down next to me, and he said, "Kid, what'd you get?" I said, "I didn't get nothing. I had to pay $50 to pick up garbage in the snow." And he said, "What were you arrested for, kid?" And I said, "Litter." Away from me on the bench there. Till I had it and created a nuisance. And they all came back, shook my hand, and we had a great time on the bench talking about crimes and stealing and stabbing and all kinds of groovy things we were talking about on the bench there, and everything was fine until the sergeant came over. And he had some paper in his hands. And he held it up and said, "Kids, this piece of paper got 47 pages, 37 cents, didn't work, we don't do that time, get anything, thank you much, trying to rest off, make anything I'm saying." And he talked for 45 minutes. And nobody understood a word he said. But we had fun playing with the pencils and filling out the form there on the bench there, and everything was fine, and I filled out the Massacre with the 4-part harmony there, and I put down my pencil. Turn over the piece of paper. And there, on the other side, in the middle of the other side, away from everything else on the other side, in parentheses, capital letters, quoted, read the following words. "Kid, have you rehabilitated yourself?" I went over to the sergeant. I said, "Sergeant, you got a lot of dang gal after me if I rehabilitated myself. I mean, I'm sitting here on the bench, on the Group W bench, because you want to know if I'm moral enough to join the army and burn women's kids' houses and villages after being a litter bug." He said, "Kid, we don't like your kind. I'm going to send your fingerprints off to Washington." So, friends, somewhere in Washington, enshrined in some little fold, are my fingerprints. And one day, you may be in a similar situation. And if you're ever in a situation like that, there's only one thing you can do. Walk into the shrink, wherever you are. Just walk in. Say, "Shrink, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant."